Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Nishmas Mordche. I already messed up. Rabbi Sai, it's a brand new week. I want to tell the Olam about. Are you? If I call you up here, would you come? Not you, not Nechemi, the guy next to Nechemi. Would you come up here? It's better not. That means yes. Okay. That means yes. Maybe soon, if we have some time. A very special thing happened last night. One of our chaverim, Moshe Ehrenfeld, donated $7,000 to MDY kids, and he paid last night to MDY kids. The Olam was getting involved with MDY kids. They realized the great investment it is to have children, 70, 80 kids every single night learning Torah. And Be'ezer Hashem, we're doing a big siyum. What day is it? Monday, the 27th. And then right afterwards, we're starting Masechtas Taanis, and hopefully other communities will join the RBS community. We could all start together in Masechtas Taanis when? The following day? On Tuesday? Oh, this is going to be the first daf at the siyum. Maybe you'll find a different Maggid chair to give it over. Okay, we'll talk about it. All right. Another very important thing I want to discuss is Nazir Volume 2 is coming out in about a week. So bring your friends. And if you are new to this year and you got a Nazir Volume 1 and you did every single day, then you get your, you qualify for a brand new Volume 2. It's a new thing from the sponsor of Volume 1. I was looking at costumes for Purim and found the perfect costume for rebelling the whole MDY Mishpacha. Your Talmud sits in Dorm. Yehuda Feldman 13. Sheets. Boom. Here's the costume. Not bad. It's a pretty good match. The hat, the glasses, the whole thing. Zalmi Garberchik is a Gewaldic special Bacher. Dear Rebelli, how are you? Good Vach. I'd like to tell you that it was my birthday this past Shabbos. I turned 19 years old. Gewaldic. Everybody wish him a Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov. Rebelli. I was motivated to write to you after you talked about the real estate deal you were trying to put together years ago, but at the last minute an investor backed out. You said you had to talk with Hashem about why would you do this to you? Why you put this deal before me and have someone drop out at the last minute? As someone who's in the business and has more stories like this than you can imagine, I'll tell you that I saw these experiences as Hashem testing my emunah. Furthermore, I realized that these episodes with the disappointments prepared me for even greater opportunities years later. But I had to go through these teases from Hashem in order for me to get to this point. Wishing you and all of them the Atzlacha, Anon Ymous, Yishkoyach. I mean, anybody that ever dealt with real estate, you go to look at, like, let's say 100 properties, you put offers on 10, and you're lucky if you get like a half. It's the percentages. You have to have a lot of patience to purchase, and then you have a lot of patience to make some money. I've been following the way since the start of Masechtas Chagiga. I'm just saying, like, you could they accept it, and then the last minute they drop out of it, and then it's a whole. I've been following MDY since the start of Masechtas Chagiga, says this tzaddik, Rosenthal, B. Rosenthal. Maybe I won't read his whole name. But now I'm considering other options. From Chagiga, spending the first 10 minutes of the shir on things unrelated to the daf is too much. Better to add those 10 minutes to the daf itself, in my humble opinion. Beechwood, Ohio. Here we go. We got to start the shir right now. For him, I just want to explain again, for all those people, if we didn't do emails, then the shir would be just the guys here in the room. In order to bring other people from the rest of the world into the shir and to get to know the Yisrael Goldsteins and Mark Ashkenazis, and we get to know their names and who they are through emails, pictures, etc., it becomes a much larger mishpacha. Plus, it's Milsa de B'dichusa before the shir. 10 minutes is probably too long. Maybe we should limit it to 5. It's supposed to be 5.
15.
You're part of the shir. You have no right to talk. Somebody in Ohio could talk. You have zero schos. You know? And also, those guys from Ohio, you're probably most of the time in Ohio anyway. You're not even here most of the time. When you're here, wow. The guys that are online, by the way, Yosef puts a thing, hold on a second. Yosef puts a thing in YouTube. You can start the shir from after the emails. You don't have to watch, you don't have to listen to the emails. You don't have to watch them. It's not, Especially, I don't think he watches the shir live. So Amela, please don't go to another shir. I beg of you, stay with us. Don't listen to the emails. Refuah Shloima, to our dear friend Yisrael Meir Ben Dora, Yisrael Halperin, who had a knee replacement Wednesday in Florida. We hope to see him. I had no idea. We hope to see him back at this table soon. Says, I don't know whoever wrote this. You guys. Shkoyach. Okay, Rabbi said I'm in the middle of a beautiful sugya. Sponsors. I don't have sponsors there. You forgot to give them to me.
Well, they were the previous stuff because you set it up.
You were up. You were up for 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay. How do I? We got to start learning Torah, Rabbi Isai. Now you're gonna do a cut and paste. Okay. Meanwhile, I could call up this bacher. Tzaddik, Ger Chasser from the back. Please come forward if you don't mind. Please. He doesn't want to. He doesn't have to. He doesn't want to. Doesn't have to. Yosef Billyack. Here we go. Koil sponsored by Anon Ymous from Lakewood. The second sponsor of the Koil by supporting Torah strengthening our bitachon. The Masechta sponsored by Maaser. The second Masechta, did I say the sponsor of the month? Second sponsor of the Masechta, Leilu Nishmas Bas Yosef. The sponsor of the month, Shprintzy and Alan Gross, Leilu Nishmas, the yahrzeits of our fathers, Shloima Zalman ben Yitzchak, Aiyzik, and Benimin Aiyzik ben Tzvi Hirsch HaKohen. This is why you don't know about Peh, because you talk during these things. Yeah, that's wrong. The parents of the Chodesh, the MDY family in Nishmas, Boruch, Helfgott, Zichron Levrach ben ybl'c, Mordche, Shloima. Third sponsor, the Nishmas Zachar ben Moshe. The first week, the parents of Shavua, last day, Yitz Moshel, in honor of Eli, the Baldman Brothers, which include Avi Factor, Anon Ymous, Avi even Aaron Stefansky. Yosef Billyack, Gershon, Avi Gargir, Tomer, and all the others who make this year happen. Yishkoyach Yitz Moshel. And the art of the month, for complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi Ben Leah. What I was going to say is, I wanted this tzaddik, don't focus the camera on him because he doesn't want. But he's a ger chassid who learns in a ger yeshiva here in Ramat Shur, not so close. He has to take buses and everything. Because he's ger, in ger they do mizumanim. So they could take v'heres on 250 daf, 500 daf, 1,000 daf. This bacher knows 250 daf. You can ask him, he could tell you, read it from beginning to end. They'll tell you the entire daf, one after another, 250 daf straight. And he comes every single morning, so I want to give him Rosh Yishkoyach. It's been here for a bunch of time already, every single morning. It's in addition to the other stuff they do in Ger. Says the Gemara. We're in the middle of the sugya of mois stumois. Here we go. Mois stumois are money that somebody set aside for korbanos of his naziros, and he didn't specify which one and where it goes. How do you get the oila, the chatos, the shlamim? So what we learned is that it's only liquid cash. Liquid cash. If it's, let's say, a cow, or even a bar of gold, or construction material, 2x6s, kairos, no. That is not in the halacha l'moish mesinai. The mois stumois goes towards the nedava, to the oilos fund. That's where we're holding. Again, so these three things, mais, and not a para, not a bar of gold, not construction material. Says the Gemara, we could start it up, even though we're holding already in Daf Chav Zayin. Let's just go back to the question so we spend a little bit more time and we don't finish 10 minutes early. Chas v'shalom, that would be a big no-no. It's not going to happen. We're probably going to finish 8:06. Zog the Gemara, Omar le Rav Shimi bar Ashi le Rav Papa, says Rav Shimi to Rav Papa. My time out the Rabbanon da Amri mois v'le behema, as you see in the chart, mois and not, it has to be liquid cash and not an animal. V'loi nascha, money and not a bar of metal, of silver, of gold. Mois v'loi svara, and money and not a bad svara. Elamiata, what? Nobody got it. 1 minute. All jokes, all stuff aside. El me'ata mois v'lo yoifais. Ask the Gemara. What about this? This person sets aside birds Do we say money and not animals? Money and not birds. So a person set aside his birds, his ybl'c ha'oif, his chadas ha'oif, and then he died. And they are stum, of course, it's stumim. We don't know what they are. Now, yeah, so it comes out that what you're saying, these birds would have to die. I just want to point out before I forget, there is a rush on Chav Zayin Amud Aleph, like, I don't know, 20 lines down or something. It says Va'afagav over there. And he says a very interesting thing. He says, what's the hava mina b'chlal that these birds should go for an adava, for an oila? There is a concept that ein makitzim ba'oifais. You don't take birds and use it as ketz hamizbeach. What's ketz hamizbeach? The dessert of the mizbeach. When you have a low time on the mizbeach, you grab an animal from a special fund and you put it on the mizbeach. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu should always have karbanos on the mizbeach. But we don't do that with birds. We do that with animals. So why would I think that these birds go towards an adava, towards oila? Explains the Rosh, because they are already kadosh. If you have a bird, a regular bird, a pigeon flying around, you don't take it from a special room and put it on the mizbeach. But over here, it already has gedusha. Somebody already designated it as an oila and chatos, and there's sasum. It's like a bunch of money that we don't know where it goes to. You're right, it's some chatos, some oila. Halacha Moshe Messina dictates to us that even though there's some chatas involved, take it all and put it on the mizbeach. And if you're going to say that these birds that have no designation, they should die, the owner has the right to designate his birds. He buys two birds. At the time of purchase, he could say the one on the right is a oila, the one on the left is a chatas. And if he forgets, there's one more opportunity, not for the owner, but for the kahyen to decide it. As the Gemara, my hamois gemirin. Now, since these birds that were bought for a carbon, you can't redeem them. There's no redemption for birds. Ememela, they become like a mefurish, right? We said yesterday, if you have an animal, a person designates a cow for his oila. Oila is not a cow. Oila is a sheep. But he designates a cow, the monetary value of that cow. And we said yesterday, if it's a tamim, if it's a whole animal, a healthy animal without a mum, you can't. It's not sasum. It's mefurish. Why? Because you can't redeem it now. You have to wait until it befalls a mum. It's too hard. It's like a bar of gold, where some say that a bar of gold you can't redeem right now. So an animal also, you can't. How are you going to redeem it? You have to wait 6 months, 6 years, sometimes 25 years until it falls and breaks its leg or punctures its ear because it went to a fet. That's not considered redeemable. Memela, it's considered mefur. Fine. So over here also, you have a bird that you cannot be paida. You can't redeem these birds. Birds are not redeemable. There's no concept of redeeming a bird. You can only redeem a carbon or an animal that has a mum, but not a bird. And memela, it should become mefurish. So the bottom line is, Elamai, what are you going to say? So you see, you could decide, a kohen can decide what each bird is. So Mamela, if we see that concept by birds, we have to take it to everything else. We have to take it to animals, to this whole list over here. Why is this list any different than birds? You said that a cow not, gold not, material not. Omar Le, Rav Papa tells Rav Ashi, who's it? Rav Simi Barashi. V'letamech, top of Chosayim Alav. Hodis na Rav Shimon Gamliel Omer, Hevi shalish behemois v'loi perish. You have a Nazir. So go back to the thing, because we don't have many charts today. So this guy, right? He brought 3 behemoths. Now if you look closely at his wagon over there, well, don't worry. There's 3 types of animals. We have oila, chatas, and shlamim. Fine, but if you look below it, they look very different. Each one is different. One is a oila, one is a male, one is a female, and one is a ram an older male. So, what happens here? Stop. Question. You have a guy that brought 3 animals. He never said what they are, where they are, nothing. What's the halacha? What should be the halacha with these animals? They're stumim. What should be the halacha? Rabbi said he brought 3 animals, didn't explain what they are. And then he disappeared. He goes bye-bye. What should we do with the animals? You have 1 chatas in there, you have a oila and a shlomim in there. So it should be stumim. They should go l'nedava, right? What? We don't know. He didn't say anything. He didn't say. We're going to get there. What you're saying is good. It's very, very good and very strong. But right now, a guy, he didn't say a word. Now you're assuming because it's a girl, it's a this. He didn't say. He has ma'istumim, as behemai stumim without being mefarish. What's that halacha? Haruya lechatos, tikrav chatos. If it's a female, it's a chatos. Chatos is a female. La'ila, if it's roi for oila, it's a male, young male, tikrav oila. L'shlamim, if it's an ayel, it has those giant horns all the way on the left. Tikrav shlamim. Amai, ho'amris, behemo, lav k'mu fereshes damyo. You are arguing with me. And you're telling me that an animal is not mefurish. Malay, hasam v'lakach v'asa. Check this out. It says in the pasuk v'lakcha. We call it v'lakach. V'asa, Amar Rahman. By Nazir, by Yeledes. This is a Yeledes. V'lakach v'asa. If you have birds, so the Torah tells us, v'lakach. When the person purchases the birds, in this case it's Yeledes. Remember, yesterday we had the 4 cases. You have Yeledes, Mitzaira, Zav and Zava. So, over here, there's a special pasuk that says when you can decide what it is, what it isn't. But you're asking me about a Nazir. Nazir, says the Gemara, Hachanami, Vayas, Chav Zayin, Amud Beis, Mimotzes Amris, this is what he was saying. Don't worry about it, don't worry. Mimotzes Amris, holding the Chadas Tikra Vayla. Only, so the Gemara, what the Gemara is saying is, he's telling him, in this particular case, where a guy has 3 animals, and you take a good look at them, and you see for yourself, one is a nekeva, one is a zachar, and one is a ayil. Shkoyach. It doesn't get any clearer than that. So that's why we say that this one is a ayla, this one is a shlamim, this one is a chatas. But in our case, when you have birds, when he wasn't mefarish, so they all have to go to nadava. You can't say the mefurish. When it's obvious, then it's mefurish. Doesn't get any more obvious. You have a nekeva. He said it himself without looking at the Gemara. You have a female and 2 males. Then obviously the female is a chatas. Now you look at the males. One looks like a shlomim to me because it has giant horns. It's a ram, and the other one is a male sheep. So it's a ayla. But otherwise, you have to admit to me that when you have birds that are not mefurish, they go to nadava. So then the question goes back. You told me it's only in a case where you have money, it's liquid money. Over here we have, it should be also birds. And therefore everything else. In other words, it's not daf. Who told you that it's dafka liquid money, birds, anything should be able to be in that parsha of stumim when I don't know what to do with it, it should all go to the nidava. No. You have to Dorm Shbelev. Maaser Amnuna. Oh, sponsored. What? Yeah. He remains with the question. He's still asking him the question. David Amin Shlita, who always encourages us to finish Shas, Latzlacha, for the Magchir, the members of the HBA Group, and their families. Amen. Mazar Rav Nuna. Avremi, you helping me out there? You're taking it off the screen, this, that, I really do appreciate it. I'm not used to this. So, this is the other pasuk. Over here, you see the kahn. Before we saw, just to go back, I don't want to skip a thing. I don't know if you could, Yosef, it's probably too much for you. But anyway, V'lakcha is talking about the woman purchasing it, and the next pasuk says, V'asa, these are the two times that you could designate a bird. Now, you have an animal, a cow, let's say, that's a balmum. It has a cast over here, balmum. It is equal to ma'is tumim. Cow, balmum, ma'is tumim. Why? Now we said yesterday, if it's a normal, healthy animal, it's impossible, not impossible. It will take a long time to convert it into liquid cash. But this animal has a broken bone, it has whatever, then it's easy to sell. You could just sell it right now. It already has the whole point is you have to let it graze until it befalls a mum. Here, it has a mum, this guy. And what do you do with a balmum? You sell it on the market immediately, convert it into cash. To convert it into cash, that equals mais tumim. What's the difference if it's cash, or it's an animal that you could sell? It's liquid cash. By the way, Mashiach's coming today, tomorrow, right? And we have to get ready for Korban Pesach. It's happening in a month and a half. Can we go and just buy a regular male sheep and bring it to the Beis Hamikdash? So I want to warn you guys, when you do this, you got to be careful of this right here. You see that? Many sheep have that, and Memela, they're all puzzle for a Korban Pesach. So just remember, when you go to the guy, make sure it doesn't have that on it. If it doesn't, it's going to be hard to find one without one of these. So you have to start, I think there's some sort of organization that already started breeding these without the mum. A little hole in the ear, it's a mum. Huh?
If it was a mum, a girl would be allowed to do it if they're hurting themselves. So,
my wife doesn't. Your wife is Baal Mum, not mine. No, I'm just kidding. She does. My wife has earrings. No, but it's in the lower thing over here. You don't do it. That's in the heart, in the cartilage. It's different. I'll prove to you not. And by the way, if I just met somebody that watches this year in this change all day long. He's always learning Torah. They told me the whole kashas in the Torah. You're right. Nazir it's lashon meshuna. It's a hard lashon. The questions are here. Here's a perfect example in 2 seconds. Right here. Keitzad amru hoish megalech. Listen, here it is. I had to put it in writing. I have to read it. It's half these words. They're all in Taisus and they're not in your Gemara. So I'm reading it right off my screen, and if you want, you can read it with me. Tashma, it's in the art scroll also, I think, in parentheses. Keitzad amru, or you could look in the Gemara and not laugh and wonder what is going on here. Where did Taisus come up with so many extra words? Keitzad amru ish megalech al nazirus av Rabbi side is a very, very interesting halacha that if a father designated money for his nazirus, he's a nazir. And he said, okay, I'm almost finished. He sets aside money, stumim. Didn't explain what they are. And then the father dies. So there's a halacha l'Moshe Messinai. This is not the first one we had. We had like 2 yesterday. Halacha l'Moshe Messinai. That a son, because logically this doesn't make sense. A son could take the money and use it for himself, for his nazirus that he just accepted upon himself after the death of his father. Again, the father became a nazir, designated money, but sasum. The son, who's not a nazir when the father is alive, because if he's a nazir when the father is alive, it doesn't work. The son became a nazir afterwards. He could use that money for his own nazirus to buy his own korbanos. Now, inside. What's the case? His father is a nazir. He set aside money without specifying what it is. V'amar hareini Nazir, and the son says, I'll be a Nazir also. I would love to use my father's money. Anybody see a difference between the words I'm reading and what it says in Gemara? Not yet. Okay.
Yeah.
There's plenty of difference. And you could see that it's more of a Lashon Rishonim than, to me, it seemed like a little bit lighter Lashon than a Gemara Lashon. If he was already a Nazir with his father when his father was alive, and in the same story, his father designated money without explaining what it is, and the father dies. It's a lot of words here for a very simple halacha. And the son said, I want to use that money. Doesn't work. What do you do with the money? If the father designated an animal, said this is a chatos, this is shlamim, chatos, tamos. Obviously, the son, it's a chatos, what the owner is no longer alive. So what happens to it? Tamos. Oyla, tikrav oyla. The animal that he set aside for oyla is oyla. Ushlamim, yikriv ushlamim. My love. So now the Gemara says, doesn't discuss a balmum and not a balmum. So, my love, afilu balasmum. Now what? A person was mafresh 3 balimumim. He has to go to the Beis Hamikdash soon and bring a chatos, oyla, and a shlamim. So he goes and he designates 3 broken-legged animals. And we say that from those 3 animals, the chatas, the one that was designated towards the purchase of a chatas, shall die. The one purchased or designated towards the purchase of an oyla, you should sell it and buy an oyla. And the shlamim, sell it and buy a shlamim. So what do you see over here? That you have a mefurish. The animals are like mefurish. I designated this one is for this one is for that, and it works. Even though they are balimum. You told me that an animal that's a balmum is like susum, is like liquid cash. Since I could go and I could sell it at any given time, so it's like liquid cash. Over here you see, no, it's not like liquid cash. If it was liquid cash, you take all 3 animals and give it to the Nadava. They would all go into the pushka of Nadava. Sasum, my stumim, animal stumim go into the pushka of Nadava. Over here we're saying no. Shloim goes to Shloim, Ayla goes to Ayla. And Chatas goes, you destroy it. I see the Olam is not holding in Kachim. Only 4 more days. Maybe 5-6 days, I don't know. It's good stuff. What do you guys want? It's mamish gishmak. Some people are saying yes, some people are like, I don't know. One guy came over and he says, I heard the word chatas, I checked out. Seriously. Didn't you say that to me?
I just don't get any of it. They all sound the same to me.
I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. But seriously, there are people that they chatas shlam, cut, they hear the word cut, okay, I'm done. I don't know what that is. Simple stuff. Chatas. Somebody doesn't have, he brings a chatas. Oilas, if you want to be nice to Hashem, you want to bring a present to Hashem, you bring oila. Fine. Next. My love. Typical Gemara question. My love. Isn't this talking about, since we didn't differentiate between a balas mum and not a balas mum, it goes also on a bal mum. And a bal mum, you just told me all these bali mum, these 3 animals are considered mefurish. The question is, you said before it's considered sasum. Lie. Tamima. Okay? It's not talking about mum, it's talking about a tamima. Well, the Gemara anticipated that question. The Gemara didn't just ask. So you tell you, no, that whole thing is talking about, he designated 3 healthy, good animals. Okay. So what do you tell me? It's only because they are healthy. But if they were bali mumim, they had broken legs, holes in their ears, then it has a lach kistumid yama. Then it's sasam. What do you do with a broken-legged animal? You could sell it really quickly. It equals cash. Cash equals nidava. You put it in the nidava pushka. So if so, maybe it's even a bigger chiddush to talk about animals that have broken legs, where liquid cash, everybody understands, okay, that's the halacha l'shem Sinai. But I can tell you even a bigger chiddush. Forget about liquid cash. an animal with a broken leg is like cash. Let's talk about broken-legged animals. So Gemara says, it's the same thing. Why did a person designate a broken-legged animal for a shlomin? Everybody knows you cannot bring a broken-legged animal to the Beis Hamikdash. So why did he designate it? Because he wants to convert it into cash. Okay, so that's cash. Cash and broken-legged animals is the same thing. Fine. Next. There says that it is a bigger chiddush, but it's included in that. That's exactly what it's included. Don't look at it as two separate things, as a broken-legged animal and cash. A broken-legged animal is cash. That's why a person designated it. He's not crazy. He set aside. Some people set aside a bag of cash. Some people set aside broken-legged animals because they're easily convertible. Maaser Rava. Okay, so here's the pasuk, psukim, I should say. Vayigra Perik Daled, pasuk Chav V'Gimel Chav Ches and Amud Beis. We see in all three psukim it says the word karbanoi, and all this is kachim Gemara, so the typical kachim, a lot of psukim and a lot of drushes. Okay, the only one that I added 2 words is pasuk Chav Ches al Chatasai in purple, because the Gemara is going to make another drasha out of those 2 words. Very, very simple stuff here. The word karbanoi means his own private individual carbon and not your friend's carbon, right? That's what karbanoi means. He should bring vehevi as karbanoi. He should bring his own carbon. Don't try to take your friend's carbon and bring that and try to be yahrzeits with that. Maaser Rava, karbanoi, okay, so the obvious question, why does the Torah say 3 times karbanoi? Why are there the same word a number of times? So we have to learn a number of drashas here. B'karbanoi yahrzeits ve'eno yahrzeits b'karban aviv. Oh, this whole halacha that we just learned a minute ago, that if the father dies and then the son takes upon himself a naziros, he wants to use what? He wants to use the father's money, cash. He cannot use the father's carbon. So, okay, I learned that from the pasuk karbanoi. Again, we had halacha l'Moshe Sinai, special halacha. If a Nazir dies and he leaves money, the money goes, if it's sasum, it goes into the pushka called Nidava. There's it says in big words in the Beis Hamikdash on the wall, Nidava, you put your Nidava in there. And what do they do with it? They buy an oila. Massive chiddush. If the guy has a son, and the son takes upon himself Naziros, on condition that he can use that money, he can use that money. It's a big chiddush. Halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Nobody in the world can use that money besides the own son. What if the father left 3 animals? I don't know, maybe even in your case. A nekeva, a zachar, a ayel, sasum. Can the son say, I want to become a Nazir on condition that I can use my father's 3 animals? The answer is no. Only when it's cash, not animals. Now, Tosfos asks a bomb question. Let me just go here for a second. We know, just to repeat and to chazer over, the timna, there's 5 chatois that die. A person designates a chatos as a carbon for himself, for a kapara, for something that he did, b'shoigig or whatever. In these 5 cases, you cannot bring it as a chatos, it must die. One of them is, the middle one, chatos shemesu ba'aleha. When the owner dies, the chatos dies with him. So, what's the hava amina that the son should be able to use his father's chatos? Isn't that halacha l'Moshe Sinai? We said it's halacha l'Moshe Sinai. Everybody agrees. We said at the end of the day, Rebbe Kiva, everybody agrees to the same. These are 5 halacha l'Moshe Sinai's. This animal must die. So the Rambam tries to answer it that the son inherited it. It's really his. And Mamela, it's not chatas shemesu b'oleh. He's the new bailam. The Torah gives it to Yerusha, something like that. We can understand what. What are you talking about? No, it does go.
That's what we need to know.
Why would it go to Oila? Mesa, chatos, 5 chatos die.
That's how long you die. You don't get
No, the halacha Moshe Sinai says they die. Now I would have a meaning. Now the son can say, "Wait a minute, stop. I want to use it for what? How could he use it?" Yeah. The The Mefurashos? Karbonoi. You say Nachmal. If it's Stumois, we said, goes, Stumois goes to the Nedava. So it can't be Stumois. Wait a minute. So it has to be Mefurish. Yeah, it has to be Mefurish. What? And Mefurish Tamut, and not use, you're right. It has to be Mefurish, unless somebody knows something else. Anybody see anything? We're talking about Mefurish. Okay. Masav Rava. Karbana b'karbana yaitz v'eni yaitz b'karban aviv. Yochel yaitz b'karbana shel aviv shefish min hakala ala chamura. Okay. So in Averis, there's kal and chamur, meaning one you could get a misas bezdin, and one you don't get misas bezdin. Chil Shabbos misas bezdin. If it's b'mezid, aved zara. But if Zdoini Karis, V'shigase Chatos. If you eat chaylev, you don't get Mrs. Bezdin, but you bring a Chatos. So I would think that there are different categories. Yachal Yitziv Karbani Shalaviv, Shivish min Akala al Chamura, or min Chamura al Akala. Avi Yitziv Karbani Shivish Shavim min Akala al Akala. Maybe if I keep it within the same category. My father was mafresh a carbon. His father, not my father, his father was mafresh a carbon chatos on chaylev that he ate, and then his father passed away, so he's going to use that carbon chatos for his own chaylev that he ate. Okay, not on his Shabbos avera, but on his chaylev avera, or the opposite. On the father is designated for a Shabbos avera, he'll use it for Shabbos, not for chaylev. Or ben chamur al chamur, tamaloymar karbonoi, and then so that's why we have the second karbonoi. Karbonoi you yoitziv and yoitziv karbonoi shalaviv. You can't use your father's carbon. Yachal yaitziv carbon of behemo shivrish afilu min akala ala kala min achamura al chamura. Sharei another megaleach abeimsav bin naziros. Okay, I understand that. I cannot use my father's animal because I see by naziros also I can't use his animal. I can use his money. Avi yaitziv b'moy shivrish aviv afilu min achamura ala kala or min akala al chamura. Maybe a person could use money from his father's kal. His father designated money for nothing to do with naziros. Designated money for a carbon chatos that he was Michal Shabbos, and the son was Michal Shabbos also. He'll take it and use that kal chamura. The famous Maaser. I got to say this famous Maaser. We're here. There was a guy came to the Rav and said, Rabbi, I need a tikkun because I did a very light aver, small aver. What did you do? So I forgot to wash my hands, my machroinim, by the Shabbos meal. He says, "Oi, why did you do something like that?" He says, "Because I figured since I didn't wash my hands in the beginning of the meal, so I'm not going to wash." So he says, "But why didn't you wash your hands in the beginning of the meal?" He says, "Because I wasn't going to bench, and if I'm not going to bench, why should I wash my hands?" So, but why wouldn't you bench? Because I was eating pig, pork. Pork? Why are you eating pork? I was eating pork because all the stores were closed on Yom Kippur, so I had to go to the non-kosher store, and then they sold pork. So Kitzer, he started off with the kal, and he came to the most chomer of the chomer of the chomer. What's the point? No, there is a mussar to this Maaser. A lot of times on Yom Kippur, a person sits there and says, Baruch Shalom, forgive me. What did I sin this year? Sinned. I once dropped a tissue in the shul. I forgot to pick it up. I might have been over on the Issa de Reis according to some. That's it. That's all. He can't come up with anything else besides his little Aveira that he once did. He stepped back 3 steps and he ate Chalav Stam. Whatever, one of those. Come on, let's be serious. Dig deeper, you'll see that you're being made on your Maimachrenim Vaser, but at the end of the day, there's a shtickle chazer maybe behind it. Okay, fine. Next. Chas v'sholom. Okay, we could stop here. No, but not. Zok the Gemara. Kala. Shari al megalech hamoisav min naziros. Bizman shein stumim. Veloi bizman shein mufurashim. Because at the end of the day, a person can use his father's money. His father set aside money that was sasum, not specified, and then his father died, and then he became a Nazir. He could use it. Third one. Should we keep on going? Yeah, we have another minute. Can't stop before 8. Maybe, okay, he cannot use from a lighter avera to lighter avera, from a more chum avera to chomer avera, skila and bezdin. Oh, listen to this, Rabbi Yisrael. A person himself, Reuven, set aside money for an avera he did. He's b'chal Shabbos by mistake. It's a skila avera. And then he decides, hold on, he wants to use that money for another avera he did. Even in the same thing. You see the word al chatasai, I put it in purple. That's another drush that tells you, when you designate an animal for one avera, you cannot use it for another avera. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.